Balotelli, Aguero!
Hello and welcome to MCFC9320Group TV. Have you ever wondered what it's like to be a referee? Do you respect the referees? Do you want to know exactly what the pressures what referees are under? Especially now when there's VAR. Well, this morning I caught up with Mark Halsey, who is the former FIFA and Premier League referee. Now, it was a very interesting conversation with Mark today, because it helps you to understand exactly what the pressures are they're under. And I thought one part in this interview, which hopefully you'll listen to, is it seems like the head of referees doesn't want people like Mark and other top referees, you know, to be involved in the game at the moment, and I think it's a crying shame. Anyway, this is what Mark had to say earlier on. Hello everybody, this morning I am delighted that Mark Halsey, the former referee, Premier League referee, has joined us. Mark, thank you for taking time out to join us this morning.
Yes, that's no problem, my friend. That's a yellow card because it's former FIFA and Premier League referee. So there's the yellow card.
In fact, can we just have a close look at what a yellow card is?
That's the yellow card. That's the card where you just write the numbers on the thing if you're cautioning a player. So
I apologise for that. Let's hope I don't get a red one during this interview.
Yeah. I didn't give many of those.
You didn't. Who was the most famous footballer that you have given a red card to?
Oh, I don't know. I think there's. I mean, I don't think there's too many. I think I sent Sol Campbell off a couple of times. He wasn't best pleased with me, and obviously John Terry I sent off. But other than that, I don't think there's too many that I did really. You know, I tried. You know, as a referee, you try and keep 22 players on the field to play and manage the game, manage the event, manage the players. And there's sometimes there's situations you just can't manage, and you have to do what you have to do, and you get the respect from players for that.
That was one of my questions I was going to ask you. You know, as a referee, you know, you get, especially post match, you get pelters from fans, media, and stuff like that. Players don't help the situation. They've got to be accountable themselves. You know, sometimes the way they either simulate, stroke, cheat. You know, trying to con the referee. Imaginary cards, you know, trying to influence a referee. Not just in this country, but you see it. You know, you see it all over the world. What's your thoughts on, you know, players? Do you think they should be more accountable, and the authorities should clamp down on that a little bit more?
Well, I mean, yeah. Listen, look, players will do what they can to get what they can out of a referee, and it's down to the referee to then, you know, be mentally tough, mentally strong, and give things how they see them. And yeah, players do not help referees in the present day. You know, it's been going on for years now. I think since the influx, we had players coming from abroad. It's, you know, it's the culture, isn't it? So yeah, players do not help referees in the way they go down, trying to deceive them. And I think one thing that disappoints me at the moment is that the respect for action seems to have gone out the window, because we do see a lot of players deceiving and simulating the referee, whether it be anywhere on the field of play, to get a free match. And it just seems that the cautions for deceiving referees don't seem to happen anymore, and especially in the penalty area where they're deceiving referees. And we've seen recently where players have gone down easy, referees have given the penalty, then it's been overturned because the VAR looks at it and says it's a clear and obvious error, but they don't go back and caution the player. So yeah, it's something that we need to rid of the game, because if there's nothing more that infuriates players, fans, commentators, and referees, and even ex-referees, that, you know, it just seems that the cautioning procedure seems to have gone out the window as far as deceiving referees at present.
I absolutely 100% agree with you on that, and I think that's the element what frustrates, you know, in particular fans, and as a referee or former referee, it must really infuriate, you know, yourselves, because it's like there doesn't seem much support there. Well, with what referees go through, in particular, you know, players simulating and stuff like that. If that happened in any other job, like if it happened in my job where one of me employees was stirring stuff, you know, trying to, they'd go did go through disciplinary action. So why don't players? You know, do you think the authorities should be more? Whoops.
Hang on. Okay.
Yeah, I think we lost you then, buddy.
You're right. It's okay. Stay there. Yeah, it's all right. It's just I need to plug the thing in. That's it. That's it. We're okay now. Go on.
The Spanish internet, eh?
No, it's the battery gone down. I hadn't plugged it in. I think that, listen, it's not easy for referees. Players are very good. Players are very good at it. And it is difficult in real time for a referee to spot simulation. So I would like to see if a player is found that he's guilty of deceiving a referee to win a free kick or wherever it be on the field of play, then retrospective action with a yellow card. A yellow card goes against his name, at the end of the game, because it just seems to be getting worse and worse now, doesn't it? So, yeah, as I say, it is difficult for referees to spot it in real time. They've got to get that correct viewing angle and just to see these offences.
Which brings me on to VAR. I'll be honest, I was not a fan of VAR. I'm still not a fan of VAR. VAR, and it is what, and it, we laugh because we probably get infuriated by it. When it first come in, it was talk of we won't be able to, everything it'll be like robotic from, the people in the stands, viewing the monitor and stuff like that. There'll be nothing to talk about, in the pub after the game. But now there's more. Well, we're obviously not in the pub at the moment, but there's even more to talk about now because VAR are actually getting it wrong. So I wasn't a fan of it. I'm still not a fan of it. What's your views on VAR?
Listen, I think that, everybody's confused. I think VAR at present is consistent at being inconsistent. And I think, you look at the IFAB protocol, it's a clear and obvious error by the on-field match officials or a serious incident missed. And they just seem to be getting involved in everything that they should. I think it's two totally different professions. I think you've got your active referees on the field and you've got your non-active referees that should be at Stockley Park. So the ex-retired referees that reached the top used because it's as I said, it's a different profession, and these guys they're refereeing one day, and then they've got to travel wherever they are in the country. They've got to then travel all the way down to Stockley Park, because some of them are refereeing one day, VAR the next, or they're doing 2 VARs in one day at Stockley Park. I mean, that can't be right. And also for me as well is I think, it hurts me to say, but I think the standard of officiating is just year after year on the decline.
Why do you think
it's just declining year after year after year? And I don't necessarily blame the officials for that, because we've got some very good. We've got some very good referees.
Yeah, do you think it may be because referees? Why would I want to be a referee? Because of the pelters and the I'll just go and get a different job because I won't be under the microscope that much. Because certainly in my job, I would like to be under the microscope and because
but that's what you sign up for. There's not many. There's 18 referees in the select group one. There's 7 on the FIFA list. So there's the 7 guys that have reached the FIFA list. That's the pinnacle. You can't go any higher. So it's a good career if you're good at it, and it's well paid. But going back to the standards, I think that the standards are declining without a shadow of a doubt since the PGML. I think Mike Riley's got to take responsibility for that. I think since he's taken charge of the PGML, I think that the standards have declined. Listen, we've got some I think really good referees. I mean, for me, listen, we all have our opinions, and I think Michael Oliver's most probably our best referee at present, without a shadow of a doubt. I
agree with you there.
And I mean, I was a few years ago, I saw him. He had bags of potential, but he kept getting key match decisions wrong. And I kept talking about it and why he got them wrong and how to, eradicate that from his game. And now whether he's been reading my columns or looking at us, you know, he now doesn't make those errors like we see other referees do. And I think then you've got the experience of Martin Atkinson, Andre Mariner, Mike Dean. Love him or loathe him, he's still a very experienced referee. Mike Dean, you know, he knows what he's doing. He's a good referee. It doesn't deserve what's happened to him and his family. I know what he's going through because it happened to me as well. It happened to me and my family. But you know, you look at them and you look at the, you know, Andy Taylor as well, and you've got the young guys of Andy Madley, Chris Kavanagh. Who else is there? I think Peter Banks, I think, could be decent. But the problem is with these guys, they're not getting the coaching that they need at the top level. You need to, I say that good coaches turn average players into good players into excellent players. That is no different to referee coaches. And the problem we've got at the moment is we haven't got the quality of coaches to guide these guys at the top level. You know, you've got likes of me not involved at the excellence. Because it's because
why don't they tune into the vast experience? Because
it's like any walk of life. If your face don't fit, you know what happens, and that's the same in any walk of life. So you have to accept that. But you know, you've got the likes of myself, Harold Webber, good friends, Mark Clattenburg, good friends, all the way in different parts of the world, coaching referees. You know, I've been out to Colombia, I've been to Peru, I've been to the States, coaching referees. I love it, but I'm not involved here. You know, we've got likes of injury. Don't want to use him because his face don't fit. You know, likes of Paul Durkin, years gone by, Jeff Whitner, good referees. They've still got lots to offer, but because the face don't fit, they don't use them. And that's what's wrong. So I think if you have, you know, you get good coaches that have been there, seen it, done it, I'm sure refereeing would move on better. You know, the standard would be a lot better with the likes of us involved in the referees. Not the guys we've got now, because a lot of these guys are not even refereed at the top level. Some of them are not even refereed.
They're almost now. You will be a robot rather than
that's the problem. That's the problem. It's the leadership and the direction, and the leadership and the direction's not what it should be. And that is exactly the same with VAR. You know, you take those guys off the field, they're going into Stockley Park, and it's the leadership and direction. You don't know what you're going to get from one game to the next with VAR. We should know, because the IFAB protocol, clear and obvious error.
Yeah,
and you know, we saw on I think it was Wednesday, Sheffield United.
That's right.
And Aston Villa, Phil Jagielka.
Yeah.
Now, you know, you look at that incident, right? You look at that incident and you think, yellow card, okay. There is doubt. Is that an obvious goal scoring opportunity? Is that really an obvious goal scoring opportunity? No. So there has to be doubt. So Rob Jones is given a yellow card, okay? So then VAR get involved, and then Rob being an inexperienced referee, he's going to go over to them. You know what's going to come next. He's going to send him off. You know that. But when you look at it, you look at, you know, the criteria that they have to consider on a denial, and it's, you know, the distance from goal to the incident, so where it took place, how far, the likelihood of gaining control of the ball, and the number of defenders in the vicinity. So that's the criteria that a referee has to look at. I know, yes, once you've blown that whistle, everything changes within seconds. But with that incident, I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, I think there's doubt there to whether that is an obvious goal scoring opportunity.
And do you think?
So me as a VAR, if I was in Stockley Park in that situation, right, I would not have called Rob Jones over to go and look at the monitors, because it's not clear, it's not obvious, and there is an element of doubt.
And it must be undermining the officials now, because they must be nervous wrecks. You know, oh, I'm going out on the field, and I'm under the microscope more than ever before.
But well, listen, it's about mental toughness, mental strength, and that's what it takes to become a top referee. Listen, I know Stuart Atwell's come in for a little bit of criticism from last weekend with the Chelsea Man United game, with the handball incident. Now, once again, you're meant to watch everything in real time. and only in slow motion where the point, so you can see if there's any contact, the point of contact. Now, in that situation, I thought Mason Greenwood was the first handball in. So I'm not even thinking it's a penalty. I'm not thinking that's a penalty. Okay, so VAR look at it, and when you look at it a number of times, like they did, and then slow it down, you can get whatever you want to get out of that incident.
Yeah,
you.
Think I've lost you there a little bit, Martin. Be a good passport picture from what I can see at the moment. I've lost you there, buddy.
Yeah, so going on with Stuart Atwell. So so obviously looking at it so many times, they think there's they look at it and they say, well, yeah, was his arm in an unnatural position? You could say yes. Was there deliberate movement of the hand towards the ball? You could argue yes. So and I thought once he got called over to the monitor, I thought he was going to give a penalty for handball. But listen, fair play to Stuart. You've got to respect that he's stuck with his on-field decision, because in real time it's difficult. It's not clearing up his error.
No, respect to him for that, because that's not happening 99 times out of 100 now, is it? With when you've just pinpointed it. When the game is stopped and the referee gets called over, 99 times out of 100, it's going to be a decision like what VAR is saying. This must happen. And for Stuart Atwell to say, hang on a minute, no, because I still don't think it was a penalty. I think he might have got a few pelters from the media and the people who are paid to stir it all up. But I think from the average fan, I think he got a lot of respect for that, because it's like, no, I'm not doing that, because I still believe it wasn't a penalty.
Absolutely, I agree. Absolutely, and that's why I say there's still a lot more training education to be done with VAR. And another thing for me as well is that we need to hear the conversation between referee and Stockley Park, so everybody knows what's going on. The fans, the commentators, everybody knows what is going on.
That was one of my questions. Do you think they should be mic'd up now? And I think that would help bridge the gap between the media and the fan towards referees, because now it used to be, oh yeah, the referee's got that wrong. But I think as a fan, you appreciate now, hang on a minute, because their job is getting more and more difficult now, because they're being told what to do. And if they don't do what they're told, they're not going to be officiating any longer. They'll be dropped and stuff like that. So it's unfair. I'm totally with you on that.
I think, listen, the mic's up. The broadcasters can hear what Stockley Park is saying to the referee, but they can't hear what the referee's saying to the Stockley Park. So we need to know. We need to hear everything. So everybody knows exactly what's going on. So everybody knows why they've come to giving that decision, whether it's a penalty, a send-off. So everybody knows, even because the fans are just as important as anybody else in football. We can see that now with no fans at the football grounds. We can see what the fans do to a game of football.
Hey, going back to one of your earlier points, Mark, about the likes of yourself, Jeff Winter, Howard Webb, etc. If there's it surely in any other walk of life, you put things like that to one side. If the best people are for the job, personal feelings should.
That's right.
To it. And it seems like the people, as they call the dinosaurs at the top, know better. Well, they don't, because the game changes that much. What year did you retire?
2013. The last game was at the Etihad.
Was it?
Against Norwich,
yes, it was. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. I remember. Yeah. So surely the people at the top must be accountable for putting their personal opinion over professional, bringing the right people in to do the right job. Because I know in my job, I don't particularly like. No, that's probably the wrong way. I don't think certain people's personalities are brilliant, but I know they're brilliant at the job. So my personal opinion about them doesn't even come into it, because I've got
no, absolutely.
As long as they don't, cause any issues or anything like that, you know, it doesn't matter what I think, and that's what should happen, in my opinion. You know, with the people at the top.
Well, absolutely. You forget what's gone on in the past. You've got to look for the future and look to bringing our referees back up to the best in Europe, because at the moment we're nowhere near it.
No. Do you think what would help is, I know it's been muted out before, is for referees to, you know, go to football clubs for training and stuff like that, or do you think they should just get more support?
Yeah, I mean, that won't happen while the present manager's in charge, because they don't want any contact with any players and managers. You're not allowed to have any contact. So, but obviously when Keith Hackett was in charge, it was a lot different. And obviously I trained at Bolton Wanderers and I learned a great deal from Big Sam, you know, also I played the game at non-league level, but I learned a lot from being in that vicinity, because I couldn't referee Bolton because I lived in Bolton. So yeah, I found it very beneficial for myself and the way I went into games and refereeing football matches.
Who did you support growing up?
QPR. That's
QPR.
my team. Yeah, QPR. Yeah. All my family from the bush. So
brilliant. Right. Let's get down to 1999, the playoff final. What was it like? Because me as a fan in there, what a roller coaster. So it can be said, really, you know, for the right reasons, you're sort of like a big part of City's, you know, not only history but the way we kicked on for them. Because without our goals, without us winning that, we would not be in a position where we are now. But what was it like? It was. Listen.
It's like every player's dream to play at Wembley. It's the same as for a referee, and it was a great occasion. It's only my third season on the list as a National League list, and I was chosen to do. I had a good season. Chosen to do the playoff final. Obviously, I got promoted to the Premier League as well that season. Listen, fantastic game. Really enjoyed the game. 2-2. Obviously, the 5 minutes enabled City to come back, and then obviously
they was you know, in the cold light of day years on afterwards, and it was legitimate. It was legitimate at the time. Because did you get a few pelters from the Gillingham?
Yeah, I did. Obviously, because of the 5 minutes, I wouldn't know where it come from, and listen, it was all looked at, and it was all fine. I should have played more apparently, but. Yeah, listen, it's one of those. They were upset with me, and because obviously the 5 minutes, because they didn't understand where it come from. But listen, it was a great day, great night. As referees, we like to celebrate as well, you know, with our families. And I had, you know, where we stayed, the Football League put us, they had Man City fans in the Hilton as well, which was, you know, it was a good night, good chat, and it was a thoroughly enjoyable day. Something that lived with me for the rest of my life.
I believe the City fans looked after you in the Hilton. But you know, yeah, because I remember, you know, you got pelters and stuff like that. But yeah, that just showed that the character of you know, it's the way you went on. And even one of my points about when you sadly got cancer and stuff like that, and you got abuse, and that was one of my points. I know you touched on it a little bit earlier. Did you get much support from the authorities and stuff like that? And
to be fair, yeah, I did. Yeah, I mean, listen, obviously, I've on a couple of occasions. Once when I was refereeing, and once just after I retired. And I think the time after I retired was more vile and horrific to my family than when I was refereeing. The time I was refereeing, and that came from refereeing a Liverpool Man United game after I sent off John Joe Shelby. You know, there was a few minority fans that you know was. The abuse wasn't right, and once then you know the death threats and it affects your family, then things are not right. But I don't, you know, I was due to I refereed in midweek down at Southampton after that game, and yeah, the PGMOL were very good, to be fair. You know, my manager came down with me and put everything in place to make sure things were all right. So, and you know, asked me if I wanted to come off the game. I said no, because if I come off it, then these morons win, don't they? So, but listen, that's what you sign up for that as a referee. You know you're going to get abuse.
Not to that extent.
You've got to be mentally tough and mentally strong to put that to one side. But when it then impacts on your family, then that's a total different walk of life. You know, it's just totally wrong. And as I say, the second bout with the death threats and you know, and the things they want to do to my daughter, which I can't say on this was just horrific. But it's not, you know, and all the abuse we're seeing today and the racial abuse, it's got to stop, and it won't stop until the social media networks start giving the police the account, the people that are responsible for this, their accounts, and that nothing will happen, nothing will change until they start doing this. And when they do, they've got to, you know, they've got to put the full force of the law at these people. And for me, they've got to give them jail time. That's the only time it's going to stop. It's no point slapping them on the wrist, because nothing will change. Nothing will change.
The only way they will be able to do that, because at present, if somebody closes an account down, they'll just open it with another email address.
That's right, yeah.
So with things like that, you should be putting your driving license, your passport number, and
everything, and your authenticity. So you get a tick, so everyone knows.
Absolutely, you know. I've been pushing that for ages, and then you know that is the person.
But what annoyed me, what I really annoyed me was that they, you know, Greater Manchester Police were fantastic, and what annoyed me was, you know, they had all the screenshots that have been sent to me and my family, and Twitter refused to give them the identification of these people, and the police were furious, but there's nothing. No, couldn't do nothing about it.
So we know you're a strong character anyway. How many matches did you referee? Did you keep count?
Well, I never kept count. I want one for records. I don't know. People say it's over 500, but listen, I don't know. I just went out there, enjoyed it. I know the fans liked the way I refereed, and I was, you know, had the respect of the players and managers and the fans, and that meant everything to me. So
it's the same as everything in life, Mark. Communication. If you're communicating rather than just no, go away. If you communicate with people, you'll get more out of it. So
absolutely.
What you up to these days, pal?
No, just obviously do me columns in the Sun newspaper. Do lots of podcasts. Which the wife gets annoyed at because I don't get paid for it.
So, I'll hold my hand up there, as you can see, my little man cave studio. I'm never out there.
No, listen, I'd like to be involved wherever it is in the world in managing and coaching referees. I just hope I get that opportunity, but I just think that you know, some people are stopping me from doing that.
And it's a crying shame, and it's putting professionalism, you know, on the back burner, you know, ahead of personal feelings.
Yeah.
Listen, buddy, I know you're a busy man. Thank you very much for joining us. Hopefully, you know, it will be an insight for the people, you know, who just think, oh, the referees, you know, they're a waste of time, blah, blah. I think even the most unknowledgeable football fan can see that it's actually been taken away from referees now.
What they've got to realise is we're human, just like anybody else.
Yeah,
and that's it.
And we make mistakes every day in our life, you know, so they do. Thank you very much for joining us, pal. It's been an absolute pleasure. It really has, honestly.
Yeah, you're welcome, my friend. Stay safe out there, okay?
And thank you, Mark. Ta-ra.
Good luck.
So there you go. That's the views from former FIFA. I have to get this right, because as you could see in there, I got the yellow card. Former FIFA and Premier League referee Mark Halsey. Do you agree with what he said? You know, does that give you a little bit more understanding of what a referee, you know, goes through? And in particular now with VAR, you know, it's a touchy subject at the moment, so I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. So get involved, give us your thoughts, etc. Until next time, stay safe. Bye-bye.